Welcome back to episode 31 here at Tech Headlines Today, where we bring you the top tech headlines in an easy listening podcast. Check out our show links in the description if you want further details on a topic we cover. Go ahead and subscribe or follow if you're new, and let's get into it. Obi-Wan Kenobi release date, cast, news, and rumors. Obi-Wan Kenobi is getting his own Disney Plus TV series, with Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen both returning to their biggest roles. The Obi-Wan show will join The Mandalorian, the 7th series of Clone Wars, and the Rogue One prequel Andor among the new Star Wars content that's exclusive to Disney Plus. But it's fair to say that a show following one of the most iconic Jedi yet could be the biggest draw out of the lot. Disney has finally unveiled the release date for Obi-Wan Kenobi. The new Star Wars live-action series will hit the platform on May 25th in just a few months. Reportedly, the series was initially meant to just include 6 episodes, but the report from Hollywood Reporter on the production delays suggested that the episode count was being dropped to a mere 4 episodes as a result of alleged script issues. It's unclear right now how much of that is true, but it doesn't look likely that the series will have more than 6 episodes. The upcoming show will be set 10 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith, when Obi-Wan is watching over a young Luke Skywalker, which is a few years before the events of A New Hope. The show will be written by Joby Harold, who also wrote John Wick 3 and Zack Snyder's upcoming Army of the Dead. Check out more details about the upcoming show by checking out the article in our show links. T-Mobile, we're tripling mid-band 5G coverage this year. T-Mobile plans to triple the square miles covered by its 5G network to 260 million square miles by the end of 2022, Neville Ray said at a Morgan Stanley conference. We're going to have materially more macro cell sites than our competition, Ray said. This is a macro build with large volumes of macro sites. T-Mobile's expansion into rural areas has already started to pay off, T-Mobile CFO Peter Osvaldik said. A third of the company's net new accounts are coming from rural areas, he said. To access T-Mobile's broader coverage, you'll need a T-Mobile 5G device that supports both low-band and mid-band frequencies. The PlayStation version of Roblox is materializing. A job posting on Roblox's website says that the company's game platform within a platform will soon expand to Sony's PlayStation console. The position will help build the game engine for the Sony PlayStation platform and will work on performance optimization, platform integration, and user interface adaptations. What you're seeing right now is an incredible focus on the smartphone by us, which we believe is an incredibly difficult form factor and the most difficult form factor for that immersion, Roblox CEO David Baszucki said on an earnings call. But these are all logical platforms, and at the same time, we won't share any ship dates for them. Roblox launched on Xbox One back in 2016, and it's still one of the highest grossing games for the platform. Twitter begins testing Shops feature to grow e-commerce. Twitter will experiment with letting companies sell products on their profiles, part of an effort to gain a piece of the $45 billion social commerce market in the United States. The beta test for Twitter Shops will be available for select businesses in the United States and will be visible to people using the Twitter iPhone app, the company said. Verizon, one of the test partners, featured iPhone cases and wireless chargers in its Twitter Shop on Wednesday. Users could then purchase the products online after viewing them on Twitter. The experiment expands on a previous feature Twitter began testing last year, allowing brands to showcase up to 5 products at the top of their Twitter profiles. The San Francisco-based company is also experimenting with live-streamed shopping, which lets people purchase clothing, accessories, and other items while watching live videos from the brand about the products. LimeWire is being reincarnated as an NFT marketplace. LimeWire, a music piracy site, is being reincarnated as a non-fungible token marketplace by 2 brothers, according to Bloomberg. Bloomberg reports that Austrian brothers Paul and Julian Zedmayer are hoping to use LimeWire's early 2000s fame to attract users to their new cryptosphere platform, with the two spending most of last year steadily acquiring the various parts of LimeWire's branding. Saying that LimeWire is an interesting brand to revive would be an understatement. It did make it easy for people to pirate music in the early aughts, sure, but those people weren't metaphorically sailing the Black Seas. They were drinking from a cesspool with a few drops of potable water. But now it's coming back as an NFT marketplace, because apparently the Zetmayer brothers have a very different understanding of the LimeWire brand. As Julian told Bloomberg, it's a very iconic name. Even if you look on Twitter today, there's hundreds of people still being nostalgic about the name. Everybody connects it with music, and we're launching initially a very music-focused marketplace. So the brand was really a perfect fit for that with its legacy. 3G shutdown paves the way for 5G, but there's a catch. In 2022, AT&T will be the first carrier to sunset its 3G network, which will present some unforeseen challenges for businesses and consumers. The adoption of 3G enabled the smartphone revolution and the growth of technology titans like Apple, Facebook, Google, Uber, Netflix, and Twitter. AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, and Verizon will all be phasing out the 3G network this year. 3G networks are essential to many services. If 3G service ends without proper patches and upgrades, those services will be blocked. The alarm industry is preparing to replace 3G networks, and cars built as recently as 2021 still use 3G modems. Despite its imminent end, 3G still has a massive overall footprint, and as a result, businesses must prepare for its sunsetting by moving to newer technology and upgrading their wireless hardware, software, and services. White House executive order starts wheels turning on cryptocurrency policy. The White House has released an executive order on ensuring responsible development of digital assets and has directed the federal government to start researching ways to achieve those goals. A 5,000-word policy paper notes that non-state issued digital assets have grown in value from $14 billion to $3 trillion, but have also raised serious concerns. The document instructs several agencies and officials to produce reports outlining ways to address the concerns through regulation, legislation, and other means. The executive order also looks to the upside of digital currencies and also notes that other countries may innovate faster than the U.S. Perry-Ann Boring, CEO of the Digital Chamber of Commerce, a Washington industry group, endorsed the executive order as, quote, a much-needed step toward putting in place coordinated and comprehensive policies that will support the growth of the U.S.-based blockchain and digital asset markets and put in place the necessary rules of the road that protect consumers, investors, and innovators alike. Volkswagen officially unveils its ID Buzz EV, the hippie bus reborn. VW executives revealed the ID Buzz during SXSW 2022, including a short wheelbase version, a cargo van option, and a Level 4 self-driving variant. Volkswagen showed off the European model of its new crossover Wednesday, but a US version is coming with a longer wheelbase and 3 rows of seats. The passenger model will seat 5 with almost 40 cubic feet of cargo space, while the cargo version will offer almost 140 cubic feet by replacing the rear seats with a partition behind the front row. For the interior, VW designers took the inspiration from the aesthetics of the microbus, pulling style elements from the T1 generation vehicle and matching seat cushions, dash panels, and the door trim to the vehicle's exterior paint color, of which the buyer will have their pick of 7 solid color options and 4 two-tone schemes. VW used recycled marine plastics and old water bottles in the interior of the ID Buzz and hopes to achieve climate neutrality by 2050 as part of its Way to Zero plan. Tech giants move to reopen offices, but differ on hybrid work plans. Apple, Google, and Twitter have now set dates to reopen their offices, signaling both the end of widespread homeworking and the rollout of, quote, hybrid remote policies. Tech giants are operationalizing hybrid strategies that they've been working on for a while, said J.P. Gounder, Vice President and Principal Analyst at Forrester. Microsoft began the transition to a hybrid work model last month, but has not yet made a return to its pre-pandemic work schedule. Apple will return staff to the office part-time in April after a 2-week transitional period, moving to 3 days a week on May 23rd. Google's US, UK, and Asia-Pacific offices will open on April 4th, according to an internal memo seen by Reuters. Google will require that its employees be vaccinated against COVID-19 in order to work from the office. Unvaccinated employees will be allowed to work remotely on a permanent basis. Twitter plans to open offices around the world on March 15th, and employees will be given the freedom to decide where they work. Can NFTs solve their massive carbon footprint problem? NFTs are one of the big drivers for the rise in Ethereum's usage. This causes a large amount of energy consumption. In the current format, known as proof of work, the Ethereum blockchain requires a lot of processing power from computers around the world. Ethereum uses more energy than the Netherlands, over 100 terawatts per year. The blockchain has a carbon footprint larger than Singapore's, around 50 to 60 million tons of CO2 per year, nearly twice as polluting as Europe's biggest coal-fired power plant, says Dr. Pete Housen, a senior lecturer at Northumbria University. If you watch 20,000 hours of YouTube, you would generate less CO2 than if you bought or sold an NFT once. That single transaction will require the same amount of energy as your average UK household uses in 2 weeks. Ethereum wants to move from a proof-of-work system to a proof-of-stake, using human validators instead of computers. The switch from proof-of-work to proof-of-stake will take time, but when it happens, NFTs could be produced and transferred with very little impact on the environment. And that's a wrap for this episode of THT. Let us know what you thought of the episode by leaving a comment on one of our socials, and go ahead and share the episode while you're at it. Subscribe if you're still holding out, and we'll see you tomorrow.